What's going on YouTube? So compact crossovers are the biggest segment in the US market, which means any entry into this segment is going to be a big deal for the brand that's doing it. And this, of course, is the all-new Volkswagen Tiguan. It's a bit of an underdog in the US market, but this all-new model is really hoping to change that by giving a lot of high-end design, luxury features, and the space that Americans are looking for. So let's go ahead and take a first look at this all-new Tiguan and see if it's ready to take down products like the CR-V and RAV4. Now starting out here with the exterior design, and specifically up here in the front. Obviously, the Volkswagen brand has always been known for having very sophisticated designs, and that's certainly the case with this new version of the Tiguan. You'll notice up in the front, it's got a very almost Audi-esque design, which is kind of composed of this large lower fascia finished in a gloss black. And then your upper element is really kind of revolving around lighting. Like a lot of recent Volkswagens, you have this big light bar that's going to run all the way from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. And you have the illuminated Volkswagen logo. So even if it's day or night, you're going to know that this is a VW. Now, of course, we are talking about the lighting with the large light bar, but let's also talk about the headlights themselves. As you can see, these are premium full LED headlights. We have this really nice looking crystal design, which is a projector LED. It does appear like for both our low and our high beam on this top example. Now moving on to our wheels, you're going to have a wide assortment of choices beginning at 17 inches and moving up to 20-inch alloy wheels. This right here is the 20-inch alloy wheel. That's very large actually for this segment of vehicle, and guys, I love the way these wheels look, to be honest. This gloss black finish with the contrasting elements, I think it really just matches fantastically with the overall look of this SUV, as well as that thin kind of cladding that goes around the wheel arches. Not too much of it, but just like a little bit of gloss black accents that I think make this SUV look a little bit tougher. Now, of course, you have your R-Line branding up there on the door itself, and then above you're going to have mirrors, which will have quite a few features. Of course, this is a prototype model, so I don't have the full details about this, but you can expect to see blind spot monitoring as standard equipment on all trim levels.
Now at the side of this all-new Tiguan, it is actually riding on a new platform this year. It's longer in its overall wheelbase, but do be aware that the third row will no longer be offered. That's kind of some big news for this vehicle. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. As far as some of the overall design elements, we do have body color for our lower moldings. I think that makes it look a lot more premium. And then as we head around to the rear, I have to say this thing looks absolutely fantastic. I think it might look better than some Audi products, honestly, in this space, because it really has a very premium aesthetic to it and a lot of premium design elements as well. Now, as far as some of those individual features, we have a spoiler up top, we have a wiper as well, and then if you zero in on the lighting, that's also going to be a big element of this overall design. So just like the front, lighting is a big element, it's also going to be a big element in the rear. So we have our illuminated Volkswagen logo here in the center, a full-length LED taillight, and every single piece of this taillight unit will be LED, and I believe that will be standard equipment. So we have all of our LED accenting, turn signal down below, reverse light in the middle. We also have Tiguan branding here in the middle. Down below that, we have a pretty aggressive lower fascia with kind of a mesh look to it. No exposed exhaust outlets even for this top R-Line model, so that's just something to keep in mind. And we are still waiting on official tow figures. Now, as expected for a family SUV like this, you will get all of your safety features as standard equipment. That's their IQ drive system. That's even going to include things like adaptive cruise control, as well as what they call travel assist 2. So that's going to even help you drive a little bit on some of your highway surfaces. So I'm really happy to see that level of technology here in this new Tiguan. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at the interior, but first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then, we have reviewed over 2,000 vehicles at every price point.
No matter what you're looking for, from humble to high-end, we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the latest cars. But as nice as the exterior is, we need to look at the interior because that's where you're going to be spending most of your time. And it's got some stiff competition in this segment. So of course you're going to have smart entry, just like every vehicle that you expect to see in this class. But let's open this up here and look inside at this interior. So guys, right off the bat, you can tell that this is a very luxurious space. They've really done a lot to enhance the luxury. It was kind of a big focus of this new model, as well as the technology. Now, before we get into specific details of what's entailed inside of that, let's talk about our seats. So this does have both leatherette options and real leather. This is the real leather on our top example, and as you can see, beautiful two-tone design. You've got the brown running through, the black accents on the bolsters here, and then the quilted design that runs through the center section. Overall, like I said, looks quite nice. Additionally, you're going to find that you have a lot of adjustability. Memory seats located right here, and then check out that button. That means that massaging is available on this new Tiguan. That is a feature that really almost no one else in the class is doing. Very rare, and I'm super excited to see that on this new Tiguan. But without further ado, I think we need to go ahead and climb inside so that we can see all the luxury and technology. Now, getting into the rest of those cabin materials, we'll start over here with our door trim. So we've got the full leatherette covering this armrest portion. The center section is matching to the leather seats with the same piping and stitching details. We have what looks to be a faux carbon fiber on the door trim, and then a leatherette that actually runs across the top part. Now, as we move to the upper part of the dashboard, we have a soft touch material with a stitching detail, some gloss black finish in our center section, and then this right here is another pretty neat feature that this new Tiguan is offering. We have walnut wood trim. This is actually a real walnut, Volkswagen says, and it does have this open pore finish, so it feels super luxurious to the touch. That's going to run all the way across the center, including right here in front of the gauge cluster on the driver's side. Then finally down here, this is all going to be padded for your knee to rest against. Now, of course, we're here at an auto show, so we're not going to have full access to all the features inside of this vehicle. But I do want to just talk about some of the technology that you see here inside this new Tiguan. So I pressed that button there. We did get our gauge cluster to pull up on this prototype. So this is about a 10-inch digital gauge cluster. This is standard equipment actually on this next generation of the Tiguan. And as you can see, this is going to be reconfigurable. You're going to be able to do things like put your map in there as well. And then one thing I'm noticing that, again, is another rare luxury feature in this segment, we have a head-up display. So that is not common in this segment, and I'm glad to see that they've added that for the new generation. Now, as we pull back, we've got the latest Volkswagen steering wheel on board. This one's a little bit more squared off on the sides, nice perforated leather, manual tilt and telescoping. Steering wheel heating should be offered as well, or actually it is definitely standard here on this version. And then you might have noticed that we have a new shifter actually back here behind the steering wheel. So with this next generation, they've moved it from the console to the column. This is the twist style, which is the same as what you get in some of the electric products in the Volkswagen lineup, like ID4. And that allows you to have a lot of versatility here with our interior space. So getting into that, first of all, we've got our center console here. When I open that up, you'll see that we've got this one big piece here. This is all going to kind of merge together in terms of our storage. But this side is what's going to actually be covered up. We also have a big bin with our charging, wireless charger, where your phone just kind of slides in sideways like so. You have your two cup holders right there and a little bit of storage. And I thought for a second this was a cover, but actually this is not covered up. And by the way, your push button start is actually this little square down here on the center tunnel, which is a kind of an interesting design. I couldn't find where it was at first. Now, big, right? We're talking about big luxury, big technology. This is literally big, right? This is a 15-inch display. This is a new available option on the Tiguan. And for a vehicle in this class, that's going to be one of the very largest displays you can get. It's absolutely enormous because it is very close to the driver and passenger as well. And inside this display, of course, you'll have the latest user interface for the Volkswagen brand. One thing I am noticing is the fact that climate controls are part of the screen. I can confirm that. So you would just kind of swipe here to adjust your temperature up and down, and your volume slider right there in the center section. Carrying on from that, you have an auto-dimming mirror with no HomeLink remotes built into it, but they're probably inside of the system itself like other Volkswagen products. LED lighting at the top, and you have swipe sensors here to roll back the sunshade for the large panoramic sunroof. The front panel does open up.
Let's talk about the rear seat area. Of course, these are used for family vehicles, and this area is quite nice. Now, I don't have official, specs from Volkswagen just yet. This vehicle is a very, early build, and this will be available later on. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but overall, tons of space. I'm 5'9", for instance, and this seat is scooted really most of the way back in its tracks. I have plenty of room for my feet and also tons of legroom. So really impressive stuff here. No worries in terms of space. Also, these seats I find to be really comfortable, and they're the same beautiful two-tone leather as well. As far as other features, we have vents here in the center section. It also looks like, I don't know if we will have our own climate controls or not. Maybe there is something here, but of course the vehicle is not powered on, so I can't confirm that just yet. But what I can confirm is that we're going to have heated back seats as an available option here on the Tiguan. Also down below that, we have 2 USB-C ports. And Drew forgot to mention the audio system. We do have information on that as well. You'll see the speaker over there on the door trim. It's going to be a 12-speaker Harman Kardon audio system. And you also have 30 different colors for your ambient lighting here in the Tiguan. So they're really tried to move this vehicle upscale in a significant way in the cabin. And now let's see how much cargo capacity we have. Of course, you do have a power tailgate. I assume you also have the hands-free ability. When it comes to the cargo area for this model, we're not going to have official numbers just yet. However, the Tiguan, it was already one of the very biggest in this compact SUV segment in terms of overall cargo space. So keep that in mind. We do actually have a little bit of a longer wheelbase as well this year, so I'd expect cargo capacity to maybe even increase for this new model. I do want to point out, of course, the third row is no longer offered. That I mentioned that at the side, but that's no longer an available option here on the Tiguan, at least here in the U.S. Now, if you're curious as to, how this vehicle ranks among other compact SUVs out there, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. On our website, we've taken a look at all of these compact SUVs, and you can rank based on the categories that matter most to you. So, for instance, cargo capacity, you can see what are the biggest options. You can also see some of the best tech options, the best powertrain, etc., etc. Now, as far as some features back here, the seats do fold 60-40 split. There's also buttons to easily fold those seats down. And underneath of the cargo floor, we are going to have a spare tire.
Now you're probably wondering what is under the hood of this next generation Tiguan. So it's going to continue to have a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, but we have more power than before. This is going to make 201 horsepower, which is up from 184 in the previous generation. Also, Volkswagen says that this new model is 170 pounds lighter than the previous generation. So both those things combined should give you a noteworthy boost in overall performance. Now, in terms of other elements of the powertrain, you have an 8-speed automatic transmission. You do also have available all-wheel drive, of course, and we don't have fuel economy figures for this model quite yet, but it should be roughly in line with what it was previously. One thing I do want to make you aware of, though, is the fact that as of now, this next generation Tiguan is not going to be sold with a hybrid variant, so that will be the only powertrain selection you can get.
Now, I'm sure you're wondering about the pricing and availability for this new model, and we'll start with pricing. Unfortunately, Volkswagen has not released those numbers yet, so we don't have any official pricing from the brand. However, I do expect the prices to maybe rise a little bit, especially considering all the luxury that you're getting here on this fully loaded example. It's really pretty much class leading when it comes to that front. So I'd expect maybe a fully loaded example like what we've been looking at today to ring in from about $43,000 to $45,000. We do expect the starting price to be roughly similar to what the current 2024 Tiguan is starting price-wise. Now, as far as availability is concerned, Volkswagen has also not quite released that yet. However, do keep in mind this is a 2025 model year vehicle, so we do expect it to come out at the latest probably around summertime this year. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this Volkswagen Tiguan review. If you're looking to buy a Volkswagen Tiguan or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to hit that or go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. A link to that is in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be where we leave off. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're already a fan and subscriber of our channel, we really appreciate your continued support. And if you're not already, we'd love to welcome you in. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.